How you guys doing? Welcome back to another video. Today we are taking a look at Lydia Finance. Now we're mainly going to be interested in the launchpad area of things. I mean, this is the Digits Club after all, right? But we're also going to look at the entire ecosystem, everything you can do here, if I think it's worth it, if you should waste your time on this or not at all. Yeah, so let's get into this. So stay tuned if that's what you're looking for. Use the timestamps below if you want to skip around, and let's get started. Alright everybody, thank you so much for joining me again today. Please make sure to subscribe and to turn on the notifications. It really does help the channel out. Also note down, I am not a financial advisor, so perform your own due diligence and also do your own research. Alright, with that out of the way, let's get started everyone. So Lydia Finance is not that well known. It is quite obscure and it is definitely an upcoming type of ecosystem. That brings a lot of potential. It means that there's a lot of growth that could potentially still be done. But for now, it is still very, very small, right? It is on the Avalanche blockchain and it provides a host of activities that you can do, from trading to farming. They have Electrum pools, maximizer farms, you can stake NFTs, you can participate in the launchpad, the lottery, they have governance and of course their own token. So there's lots of stuff to do on this ecosystem and it is mostly made to produce passive income through staking, through mining and through participating in early crypto projects on the launchpad. So the launchpad is actually what we're going to start off with today. So we're going to look at the launchpad first, and after that we're going to look at everything else. So stay tuned for that, and again, use the timestamps if you are interested in other parts of Lydia Finance. Alright, starting with the launchpad, they have a very unique system. They don't have a tiered system, they don't have a lottery system. Everybody can participate. Yes, that's right. Everybody can participate in this launchpad. Only $100 though. That's how simple it is, right? Everybody can participate, but with $100 maximum. As we can see here, that is the basic sale. In their own words, they say, this is the best option for those who want to participate in the IFO and get the most bang for their buck. Each user will be able to contribute a maximum of $100, equivalent in LYD AVAX LP tokens in this basic session. Total amount of tokens that will be available this session will often represent around 30% of the total supply of the sale. So $100, you don't have to pay a tier, you don't have to stake, you don't have to do anything, and that is very interesting. Of course, in most traditional launchpads, you will need to stake X amount of tokens to get either a lottery ticket or a guaranteed allocation. So this is actually very interesting, and it is certainly a USP that makes the Lydia launchpad very unique. So with that out of the way, let's get into the second form of investing, and we see that in the form of an unlimited sale. The unlimited sale says there will not be any contribution limits in this pool. Do you understand this? There's no cap. Now, no cap. Okay, so I wonder, right? I wonder how they made this work, but I'll get to that in a little bit. But in short, you can invest unlimitedly, right? As much how you want, and all you have to do for that is pay a 1% fee. It sounds almost a little bit too good to be true, and in crypto that usually then also is the case. So I'm very excited to dive deeper into this, see exactly how they pulled this off, because if this is real, then this would automatically be one of the best launchpads out there. I mean, you can invest however much you want, you don't need to stake, you just have a 1% fee, and that's it. Man, I mean, again, if this is actually real, then this launchpad is banging. But if it actually works differently in reality, which it might, then you know, it's not as good as it seems. But we're going to continue. This is at least what they claim to do, right? This is how they claim to work. We still have to see if that's actually the case. So the basic sale and the unlimited sale. And of course, then there was the 1% fee that you pay for the unlimited sale in order to participate unlimitedly. Now, what is going to happen with that fee? The 1% fee is going to get burned. Now, for those of you who are like, okay, then why are you burning my fee? Why the hell am I paying the fee in the first place if you're just going to burn it? It is a deflationary mechanism. Basically, they are burning your tokens to decrease supply and thus up the price which is good. All right, deflationary mechanisms are good, and of course it cannot be the main cause, the main option for a token to go up in price or to remain high in price, but it is a good addition. Obviously, token utility should be the base foundation for a token price, and then deflationary mechanisms can come on top of that to support that price, right? If the token has enough utility, we'll get to that in a bit. Deflationary mechanisms are in place. As said before, 70% of all money for the fundraiser is going to come from these unlimited sales. So 70% of everything raised will have a 1% fee. So there's a lot of tokens getting burned, and I'm sure we'll see all of this also in the tokenomics. But again, we'll get to all of that in a little bit. So that is just about all for the launchpad side of things. We see here overflow sale method. In the overflow method, users can subscribe as much or as little as they want to the IFO, and their final allocation will be based on the amount of funds they put in as a percentage of all funds put in by other users at the time the sale ends. Users will be sent back any leftover funds that they claim their tokens after the sale. Okay, right, so the overflow method. So this is really what they mean with the unlimited and the basic. So, right, okay, now this makes a lot of sense. Now, why they only put it down below here is very interesting, because this is actually one of the first things that we should have had to read. What they do is they will allow you to, as it says here, put as much or as little into the pool as you want, right? Which is talking about the unlimited, right? It's unlimited, so as little or as much as you want. Then depending on all other people in the pool, all other investments that has been done, regarding on that, your allocation will be assigned. So you might invest $10,000, but then you might get $5,000 back, and they're like, that you get a very big allocation, but not that big. So they use the overflow method. Now again, this should have been at top, right? It should have been like, we use the overflow method, and in the overflow method we have the basic sale and the unlimited sale. So that's a little formula that they should have done like that. But again, yeah, it's do I like the formula? I don't really, right? If we read it real quick again, right, users can subscribe as much or as little as they want to the IFO, and their final allocation will be based on the amount of funds they put in as a percentage of all funds put in by other users. Right, users will be sent back any leftover funds that they can claim over time. Okay, so it's also quite vague, right? We don't know exactly what they mean by this. So I know you come here for a tutorial, but I cannot give any concrete answers on this because they haven't explained it in detail. We'll try and find it in the white paper. One thing that I do know is that your final allocation will not be dependent on a tier, but dependent on the total piece of the pie. How much of the pie do you own? That will guarantee your allocation. And there will be no lottery system. Everyone gets to participate, but if you invest very little, you will also get a very small piece of the pie. And if you want to secure a bigger part of the pie, invest more money, you'll have to go to unlimited, which will cost you 1% fee, which will be burned. All right, so that is all for the launchpad. As we can see over here, you have the basic sale and the unlimited sale, and you can participate in whichever one you'd like. The current next IFO that they have is the Travers, and they also show the past IFOs. We see Avion, Maximus, and Everest DAO. So these are all of the past projects that they have done. You can see here the basic sale and the unlimited sale. If you participated in here, I suppose you could have clicked on it, got more information. We didn't. And then here you have basically just a website. You can click on it and it will bring you to the website, or no, it will bring you to a Medium article about the project, which is actually very good. Obviously, it would have been good to also include just the actual website and the social media of the project, maybe even some information about it, but writing your own blog with your own research, putting it up there in a Medium, that is also good. It just might be a good addition to do that next time. But yeah, for you guys, that is completely irrelevant. So that's the Launchpad. That's how it works. Real quick, how to actually get started using the Launchpad, of course, because that's quite important, right? So we go over here and it says here how to take part. So basically just follow these steps, right? Get your tokens. You can get them here, clicking on the link. It will bring you to Lydia Finance swap. and you can just get the tokens that you need, commit the LP tokens. So right, use the tokens and then claim your tokens after it finishes and get your rewards. Right here, it all happens on site, right? Both the swapping, getting the tokens, and both the committing and the withdrawing the tokens all happens on Lydia Finance. Very comprehensive, very easy to navigate. So let's now move over to all of the other utilities. So here we see the Lydia Finance homepage. Now from here, we can do everything else that we want to get doing on this platform. So from here, we can see the Avalanche Alliance, which is one of the NFT collections on Avalanche. You'll be able to stake these NFTs on Lydia Finance and get passive income. Here you see all of your stats surrounding your farms and your staking, all of the LYD that you have in your wallet, auto compounding LYD earnings. Here you see the total value locked up right now, which is $771,000. Now, again, it's not that much, but it is also because Lydia Finance is still quite early and it is a small platform. So it is understandable that we see just a small amount locked up. If we, at the end of this video, conclude that this is a good platform, then we expect this to go up exponentially during the bull run and when the market eases up a little bit. But for now, again, just a relatively small finance platform, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Here we see the LYD stats. So that is the current total supply. They put a little lie in there. That's funny. The total LYD burned, the new LYD/second, and the LYD market cap. So yeah, just your overall complete market overview there for Lydia Finance. Now it's really nice because you can just log in and you can do everything on one platform, and you don't even have to go to CoinMarketCap to see the stats of the project. You can just see it right here. If the the market cap goes up or down, you can see it. You can see the token price. You can see the amount of tokens you have. You have a very good dashboard. So I really like that thus far. It's all in one. No need to go anywhere else. And here, of course, you see all of your lottery winnings. The total jackpot this round, you can see that as well. So that is that. Now, from here, we can navigate to all of the other options on the website, such as trading. So they have their own exchange and liquidity platform. So over here, this is their exchange. You can see Lydia Finance. You can swap or you can do liquidity. Add liquidity to receive LP tokens. So here you can click on add liquidity and you can just type in the amount of tokens you want and what type of tokens, etc. So that's not really too interesting to me, at least. Swapping is interesting, right? You can just swap whatever tokens you have. If you have Avalanche tokens, you can press 500 or whatever, and you can convert it to LYD. And obviously I don't have my wallet connected, so it's non-responsive, but it's very simple and it's all on site. Now, it is worth mentioning that Lydia Finance is not cross-chain. Now, this is clearly something that they need to start adopting if they want to really get the bigger investors in and really want to grow. Now, there's still time for Lydia Finance to implement this. Cross-chain is not something you just snap your finger and get done, but let's see further down the line if they are interested and if they are looking to get those cross-chain implications. Otherwise, there's not really a future for this platform. I'm really serious about that. If they don't feel like doing any form of cross-chain compatibility, then this small is what they're going to stay. They're not going to grow, right? So cross-chain is a must. So I'm very interested to see their roadmap, if that is on the calendar, yes or no. However, yeah, here you have the trading. From here, you can also navigate over to farming. It will bring you back to the website. Now, farming, again, it is very simple. You'll be able to farm some of the fees. So it's not the same as mining. You're not generating tokens. You are farming the tokens that are already in circulation. And well, usually it is just a good, easy way to make some side profit, really. So you have a bunch of pools here with some details. You're able to click on any of them and you can, start farming. You just click on enable and you will just start farming, right? So again, very simple, and overall it's just like an easy way to make some passive income, especially if you already have tokens. So again, this is all adding right utility to the token of Lydia Finance, right? There's more and more things you can do with the token, so it becomes more worth, right? The worth increases as the value of the token increases, right? You don't want to sell your token if there's so much to do with the token, and little things like, being able to farm, being able to stake, having a launchpad, having a lottery system, all of these things add up and give the token a lot of things you can do with it, a lot of utility, which in turn gives it value. Combined with the deflationary mechanisms that they've put into place after every 1% transaction fee, is going to really boost the token. Now, overall though, the token, it is very low worth at the moment, of course, but let's just put it like this. It would have been a lot worse if the token utility was less, and if there was no deflationary mechanisms, then it would have easily been half or even none. So yeah, and again, the price being very low, it has never been very high. The highest it had ever gone was 10 cents. We're going to review the token in a little bit. Stay tuned for that if you're interested. For now though, let's get back to the farming. We can see here that there's a bunch of pools. There are also other chains over here. So we can see that they do implement other chains as well. But again, I did not see that yet with the launchpad and other aspects of the platform. So, and the finished pool seems to be completely empty. So, okay, fair enough, right? We're just gonna move forward to the Electrum pools. Now, the Electrum pools, again, it's quite straightforward. Here you have all of your pools with a bit of information. You can just stake and get started with this. I don't know why it's not loading for me. It's certainly not the Wi-Fi. So I'm interested if this is like working or not. Look at this. This is just not really loading. They do have a bit of details here. But yeah, it doesn't seem to really be working as of right now. Let's look at the finished pools. So they do have some finished pools here. Snob, Xava, Olive. Okay, so they do have a bunch of finished projects, but the alive projects seem to not really be loading. But at least they have 3 of them. Maybe it's just a temporary issue. I would say check it yourself, see if it works. What else? They also have maximizer farms. Just a different farm to participate in. Then of course we have the NFT staking. Now the NFT staking is a bit more interesting, right? If you have or you want to get one of the Avalanche NFTs, the AVAX Lions, then you will be able to stake this NFT, and for as long as you have it staked, you're going to be claiming LYD. So it is that simple to really just earn that passive income, right? Get that NFT, stake it to earn passive income, and then flip the NFT when the price goes up. It is that simple, really. So that is what a lot of people are doing. Or of course you can get the NFT, stake it, get the tokens, and utilize the tokens on the site itself, such as being able to participate in the launchpads or doing other stuff. Just stake your tokens, get even more rewards. Whatever you do, right? It's an all-in-one platform. So when you earn the tokens, you can sell those tokens for money, or you can utilize those tokens on the site for something else. And I think a lot of investors decide to keep the tokens on site because there's a lot of utility, a lot of things to do, right? So that is a short overview on what you can do there. Of course, then we have the launchpad. We already discussed that one. Moving over to the lottery. The lottery is actually quite simple. You just buy a ticket with LYD. And then basically, I believe it works like this, but let me just double check. No lottery pod when presses 2, 3, or 4. If you're taking number, match your winning numbers in their exact order. Right. So what I think, and they don't really put a lot of information on here, right? But what I think they do is all of the people putting money into the pot, and they basically create the lottery, right? So all of the participants in the lottery, they buy tickets, and the winner will basically get the money from the tickets. But I'm not sure. Maybe they put something in their tokenomics and they reserve tokens just for the lottery. But I assume that it is the investors themselves that actually create the prize pot. Now, let's see. You have to match these numbers on your lottery ticket, and you can approve here your tickets. You can buy it. So yeah, I mean, I suppose it's nice. It's nice. I would never participate in this. Of course, it's all luck. I think in crypto, there's so many opportunities to actually make money without luck needed or less luck needed. So I would never participate in a lottery, but it's fun. And if you have some spare tokens around, it's a nice, neat little utility. And if you win, of course, it's really nice, right? So yeah, overall, it's just a nice, neat little thing. Nothing too special, so we're not going to put too much time and effort into it. So from here, this is basically everything on the Lydia Finance. We're now going to talk a little bit about the governance, the white paper, and the token. After that, we're moving into the community and the current holders of Lydia Finance. So there's still a lot to go over, and there's still a lot of information that you need to know before getting into Lydia Finance. And of course, at the end of the video, my final thoughts. Do I think that Lydia Finance will go up in the bull run? Do I think it's a good platform or not? So if you're interested in that, definitely stay tuned. Okay, so let's get started with the governance. As a decentralized platform, the community and its investors have a lot to say in Lydia Finance, the direction of it, and everything regarding, just the big decision-making things, right? Let's call it things. So here, Lydia Finance team will bring out a proposal, and the proposal will then be voted upon by the community. Now, in order to get voting rights, you will need to actually hold the LYD token, and you will need to be registered, and then you have to actually go and vote. Now, if you are a holder of the token and you believe in Lydia, right, then you really want to do this voting, because you want to steer the direction of the company to what you think is going to be good for it and for your investment. So if you feel like you have a lot of experience and you know what's best for the project, or you just have your own vision on what you feel like the project should do, this is where you can basically bring that opinion out. So as you can see here, this is one of the new recently closed proposals. 99.74% voted for, 0.26% voted against, and no people abstained, basically. So Gov LYD is the government token. So I assume, I'll have to read into it on the white paper, so I'm not sure yet, but I assume you will need to stake the tokens, right, the LYD, and for staking you will get staking rewards, but you will also get the governance token. And with the governance token, you'll be able to do your voting. So as you can see, 1.6 million Gov LYD has been spent here on this vote, and 4.2 thousand have been voted against. Now, what is the actual proposition? It's quite irrelevant, but just to give you an idea, remove EVRT and VERSE from Lydia Finance Trading Group. It seems as though VERSE and EVERT tokens no longer hold any use, as both projects are no longer actively functioning. So then they want to remove it. They put it up to a vote. The community said, yes, get rid of it. And thus they did. So that is basically just how decentralization works, and the DAO governance is really good. And I always look for projects that have this. Now, it's not a must, right? Sometimes you just have very capable teams and they're like, look, we're not going to put it to a vote. We're just going to do it ourselves, right? But we know what we're doing. But with a big ecosystem like this, especially a smaller one, a startup one, I really like to see it. I really like to see just a governance. And it brings additional utility to your token on top of everything you're able to do with it. You're also able to vote with it. You get some rights within the company. So that's really cool. And that's also just about it regarding the voting. As you can see, some of the votings are very close. Some of the votings are just very one-sided. It's usually all the same. So we're just going to move forward to the actual token, see how the token looks. There's some rain outside. I hope you guys don't mind. There we go. We're just going to continue. So the Lydia Finance token, as you can see right here, it's currently worth less than a cent. Now, is that bad? Again, guys, you cannot judge the quality of a token by its price, right? Look at Cardano. It is one of the biggest coins out there and is worth 50 cents, right? So the price is only relevant if you're holding the token already. If you already hold the token, the price goes down, it gets lower, then yeah, clearly that's not a good thing. But for right now, if you're going blind, you don't have the tokens yet, don't worry about the price, right? If it's very cheap right now, it just means it's a good entry point overall, right? All we really have to look at is how is the token behaving, and do we think it's going to go up eventually? So as we can see over here, TGE went really well for the token. It jumped up. All-time high was really high at 12 cents. It then remained high for a bit after tumbling down and basically flatlining. Now this is how we've seen most launch pads and financial crypto systems behave nowadays. Of course, right, here we had the bull run. Everyone was still bullish. The market was doing very well. Everyone was, investing their money. And, near the beginning of 2022, that basically just collapsed. And projects like this suffered tremendously. And you can see that with the price. Now, the overall sentiment on CoinMarketCap seems to be very bullish, right? We have 2 bullish comments thus far versus 1 bearish one. What I did notice, however, if I clicked on this particular bearish comment, and what I saw was that basically all of his posts were bearish, right? World sucks. I don't know. Dead project. Is this dead? Bull trap. Will be replaced. You must create a new token and airdrop it. Blah, blah, blah. Right? So he seems to be quite a negative character overall. So yeah, I'm not taking this bearish comment too seriously. Just because he's bearish 99% of the time. Overall, though, if we look at the bullish comments, these users have this one also has, let's see, a very, just track record of just saying bullish. So that's not incredibly reliable either. What we're really looking for is those investors that give them both, right? Both bullish, both bearish, both sides of the pie. Those are the most reliable ones, at least. This one, let's see. This investor, look at this. This is what we're looking for. He is bearish when he needs to be, but he's also bullish. So as you can see here, it's a good, healthy variety between bullish and bearish. And he is bullish on this project. So that is actually a more trustworthy comment here. So that is good to take into consideration. For the rest, if we look at the volatility of the token, we can see that there is a lot of trading volume for a small platform. Always consistently more than 1,000-ish. So that is good to see. Overall, the token has been moving downwards over the past week, but over the past month, it is actually pumped. As you can see, it increased in value a lot and it stayed quite high. Now, with the market conditions getting better and better every single day nowadays, I can certainly see this token go up, right? It has already proven to not be dead, right? The project is still active. The team is still active, and the token is proving to be able to go up, as you can see right here, right? So what we're seeing is the ability for this token to increase in price. Now that is the most important thing, right? Because when the bull market hits, when the market eases up, things are going better, then what are we looking for? We're looking for a project that has proven to be able to move with that market, to increase with the market, and to basically just have potential to get higher. And well, thus far, Lydia is showing to be capable of such growth, which is good. Overall, sentiment on CoinMarketCap, it's divided, but overall leaning towards the bullish side. And then if we move over to the markets, we can see that they have their own markets listed, but also Pangolin. But the vast majority of the volume is happening over on Lydia Finance. There's also Bitmart, but as you can see with the 2 little stars, it has not been confirmed, these investments, so we're not going to move too deep into that. But yeah, as you can see, Lydia Finance, that is just what they are putting all of their money into. All right, so that is the token. Let's now look at the chain to actually try and find out how many holders there are. Wow, look at that. More than 6.3 thousand holders. That is actually much more than I expected, right? This is such a small platform still. I did not expect this many people to hold the token. Now, I assume a lot of these people are holding very tiny amounts, right? Because what we saw on the homepage is that only a couple 100,000 was staked. Now, with more than 6,000 addresses, we can make a pretty fair assessment that at least a good chunk of these investors are really, really small, which is not uncommon. But more addresses than I thought, right? Let's put it like that. Transfers happen incredibly frequently as well. Now, it makes sense, right? Like I said before, lots of utility, lots of things to do. So the token moves around. It's being used, as you can see here, every hour, multiple times. People are moving around their tokens, they're swapping, they're exchanging, they're staking, they're participating in launches, they're doing all of these things, they're utilizing their Lydia, and therefore you can see the token moving around. It's a good thing. Moving down, however, we can see that, let's see, the holders, these are all contracts over here. So these are not actual investors. So from the 18th spot onwards, we can assume that these are investors. So these people are holding more than 1,000 tokens. So the biggest whales basically hold a couple, no, not a couple thousand, just more than 1,000. And then over here, after 4 or 5 investors, we already go down to investors that are below 1,000. So like I thought, a lot of investors, but very small investors, very tiny investors comparatively. So in the top 100, you already see that we are down to $67. Now, again, there's nothing really wrong with it. In fact, what it does is it stabilizes the coin a little bit in the sense that if you have 80% of your tokens held by 3 people, then if one of them was to sell it, boom, your token would make massive movements on the market. So why are we seeing so much stabilization in the flow of the coin? Well, it's because the holders are super spread out. If one person was to sell off all of their tokens, it doesn't matter because they probably only have $60 and there's still 6,500 other holders. So that's very good for the stability of the token. All right, so now it is finally time to really sit down for the white paper. Now, before you're like, okay, we discussed the token, we discussed the utility, I'm pretty much, I'm filled up. I know it. I know everything I need to know. Yes, almost, but a white paper is incredibly important, right? What you can see over on the website can tell you 50%, but the white paper is what's really going to reveal if this project is going to last or not, and it's going to give us all of the additional information we still really need before actually getting into this project. So, with that out of the way, the white paper. Here they have an introduction and it's way too big, okay? No one is going to read the whole thing. I understand that they are a complex, large ecosystem, but I would recommend them to scale it down to just this, or at most this, but it's too much text. What they say is Lydia Finance is a decentralized exchange running on Avalanche. The exchange is an automated market maker, AMM, that allows 2 tokens to be exchanged on the Avalanche Network. On top of that, you can earn LYD tokens with farming, staking, and earn even more tokens with the Electrum pools. The ability to swap different cryptocurrencies while maintaining custody of your coins is an improvement in safety when it comes to utilizing exchanges. Centralized exchanges require the user to trust another entity with their funds. And of course, that's why they are a decentralized exchange, as they are going to not have a donor entity needed to trust with the funds. Instead, it will be done by the community, verified by the community, voted upon by the community, and that is certainly one of the USPs of this entire ecosystem. Now, moving over to the tokenomics, this is definitely an interesting one. We see 3 distributions, one for liquidity, mining, and staking allocation, one for the airdrop allocation, and one for development and team. So, wow, we are not seeing a lot of variety here. But I mean, there's everything they need, right? Development and team, that's important. Liquidity, mining, and staking allocation, and the airdrop. So those are all the essentials. Now, we don't have anything for marketing, which makes me wonder, how are you going to really blow up and really make this platform big if you're not going to invest in marketing whatsoever? So that is something I'm interested in. And for the rest, of course, they don't give a lot of detail in the tokenomics, in the sense that they put development and team together instead of splitting them up and really showing like, this is what the developments will get, this is what the team will get. I don't see any advisors, right? Is the team advising themselves, or do they not have any advisors, or do they not pay the advisors? All 3 would be bad options, right? So I'm not seeing the advisory. The airdrop allocation is 3%, and the liquidity, mining, and staking, 82%. Okay, so this is not a very strong tokenomics at all, in my opinion. Total supply, though, is 540 million LYD. Farmers, 61%, LYD holders, 21%, airdrop 3%, developers and team. Oh, so this is basically another Oh, okay, so this is, okay. So this is basically the 82% broken down. So in the 82%, you'll have 61% for farmers, 21% for LID holders. Yeah, that's 82%. Okay, so now we know where that goes to. Right, okay, fair enough. And that's it. All right, so not the strongest tokenomics I've ever seen, but at least the basics are there. So that is, of course, the bare minimum that we have at least. Moving here, we see the airdrops. Initially, we are minting 16.2 million LYD to airdrop contract to give away it to the future Lydians with several campaigns. Once the airdrop participation period ends, we will retrieve the data participants submitted, verify and clean out spam entities, remove duplicate entities, and send the LYD tokens. So this is just an airdrop. They're very simple, right? People that are holding the tokens, that are participating and part of the ecosystem will get temporaries, like from time to time they'll get an airdrop, which will just give them some extra tokens, which is very nice. An airdrop is very important, and there you go. Then here they talk about inflation. In most farming platforms, there is an issue with inflation, especially if the yields are very high. When the inflation is high, you will see the value of your tokens decrease over time. We countered this by adding some deflationary mechanisms to our platform. The first is the lottery. 25% of the total pot will be burned. Wow, okay. So that is one hell of a deflationary mechanism. And then, of course, they have the 1% fee on their launchpad. I wonder if they named that here. Then there's also our Electrum pools. They have an 8.55% performance fee, which will also be burned. And they don't even actually mention their launchpad, but of course that is also deflationary. Avalanche, not Ethereum. So why did they decide to go with Avalanche and not Ethereum? They have 4 reasons. The first is the gas fees. Of course, Ethereum, very high gas fees. Avalanche is lower. The second issue is the speed of Ethereum. Avalanche is faster, that's correct. The third reason is scalability, very important as well. And the fourth reason is we produce LYD tokens based on Unix timestamps, no matter the block number. 10 LYD tokens are produced per second. This would not be possible on the Ethereum because miners can manipulate the block timestamps. Okay. This is also interesting, by the way. 10 LYD tokens are produced per second. That's a lot of tokens. So clearly that's why the token price is quite low and why there's so much burning, because there's so much creating as well. And those are going to be able to be mined. So yeah, pretty comprehensive and on the verge of having too much text again, but it's just enough. So it's well explained. And here they have their conclusion, which I'm not very interested in. Now here we have about us. So this should be the team. It doesn't seem to be doxed, right? We don't see any names here. Here's what we do have. We are a team of professionals experienced in different blockchains and decentralized platforms. Now, again, saying that you're a professional, that doesn't mean anything if it's on text. We'll have to verify that by LinkedIn or by just, you being doxed in the first place. We need to actually know who you are. Being doxed is very important. Now, I understand that Lydia is quite small still. I understand that it is still quite new. So maybe it's in your calendar to do it later down the line, but the sooner the better. I always prefer investing in a project with a doxed team. That's my personal preference. I've also invested in projects without doxed teams. So you can do both. It's just a preference. But yeah, not having them doxed is definitely a red flag. They say here we aim to leverage Avalanche unique features like low gas fees, quick finality, guaranteed timestamps, and combine them with an intuitive UI and fun gamification to lower the average user's entry barrier. Now that they certainly did, right? They certainly did lower the entry barrier, as for instance with the launchpad, you can just participate very easily into a guaranteed allocation. The token price is very low and the interface is indeed very simple to understand. So it does seem like there is a low user entry and it works, right? There's more than 6,000 holders. That is a lot, right? Objectively. So that works. Now, as for their roadmap, it looks disgusting, but at least there's a roadmap. And so normally what you would do is you would categorize a roadmap by quarters. They were like, hey, we're going to be very detailed and we're going to do it day by day. So clearly I'm not going to go through everything because that would just be ridiculous and take way too long. But overall, on the 20th of April, no idea what year, they launched Lydia Finance. And look at this. I can hardly go through all of this. It just looks super messy. right? From partnership announcements, even to just certain amounts burned are all put into this, right? 1.5 million burned, an AMA, an emission update. So half of the things in this roadmap are not very important. They're not really supposed to be in a roadmap. Now, depending on how you look at it, this could either be a very detailed roadmap and very good, or you can say, hey, this is just a lot of information we don't really need, right? It's good that you give the transparency, but we don't really care how much you burned per se in the roadmap. We want to see what have you done this year and what are you going to do in the next upcoming years. A roadmap is to really hold the team accountable and to say, hey, this was on the roadmap. Did you do it? And to really get an idea of, okay, how much have they done? How much are they planning to do? What is on the calendar? What can we expect? And this roadmap doesn't really give me that information. Now, again, if you're wondering, okay, so the roadmap isn't good, so should I not invest in the project? I'm not saying that. We're just reviewing the whole thing. So everything together combined is what eventually is going to, incentivize us to either invest or not to invest. Roadmap not being very good is one small piece of the pie. The team not being dogs, one small piece of the pie. Eventually, it all stacks up and we make our judgment at the end of the video. So yeah, that's the roadmap. We're actually just going to move on and move over to the rest of the white paper. Now over here, the rest is just very simple. Contact us. They have all of their social media, right? Their Twitter and all that. I'm actually going to open the Twitter. We'll look at that in a little bit. Then we see the LYD token. Now we went into quite a lot of detail already, so we're not going to move too much into that. Here we see the LYD distribution, which is just the tokenomics again. Contracts again, not interesting. Here are the airdrops. Initially, we are minting 16.2 million LYD to airdrop. And their first airdrop was announced on the 13th of April 2021. Now I know that the Lydia Finance airdrops are quite the thing. A lot of people are interested in those. Now there's not that much to say about it, right? Just get involved with the project. You will receive airdrops. They have 15.2 million tokens already planned out to give through airdrops, which is actually quite a lot. And yeah, that is overall it. They go into detail on like add liquidity, right? They have some tutorials, some visuals on how to do it, swap token, bridges, the Electrum pool, etc., etc. I actually feel like I shouldn't go too much in detail on that because I already did when reviewing the website. What we can look at real quick is the rug pool mitigator code. The code allows SushiSwap/PancakeSwap to take all of your money within 6 hours of it being deposited in the vault. We remove this code and our contracts does not contain the 6-hour mitigation function. Okay, so yeah, and fun fact, they have some history on the Lydians, were civilization that lived in Western Anatolia. Okay, so yeah, fun to include that a little bit in here. All right, moving forward to their Twitter. Now, as we can see, they have 34.4 thousand followers. Again, they're still small, which gives growing potential as well. As they say, we are building, right? They're getting there. Now, their most recent tweet was at the 14th of August, which is good to see. That is 2 days ago. So they're active. They're still working. They say here, good morning, Lydians. We have been busy building during this bear market. Can anyone guess what we are building? And in the comments, what we see is a lot of engagement and also a lot of people from the community with an AVAX lion. So we see here one that says a scam project. The other ones are actually, discussing what the project is all about. Now let's see if we have more of these comments talking about, hey, it's a scam or whatever. So I don't see anything here. So this is just about APY rates and all that. Here we have some pools, 83 votes. That's a decent interaction overall. Look at this, you guys still here? So there's certainly some people here that are not very bullish on it overall. They tweeted quite a lot still, actually. Let's see here. This person has 2 lines staked. Any update on this? When the announcement will be? Well, this can't wait for news. All at once. I love the surprises. Teach me more. Rar. Right. So yeah, there's definitely a balance between people being bearish and people being bullish. Overall, what I have to say about this is, At the end of the day, a finance crypto platform during the bear market is always going to struggle. So you're always going to have a lot of beginner investors that are going to be like, oh, it's a scam project because the project isn't doing well and I lost money. It's like, you lost money everywhere if you were in crypto around this time. So, I mean, what can I say, right? Now, is it really a scam project? Well, at the front, it doesn't really per se look like that, right? Is it a good project? We'll get to that in a bit, but I wouldn't go as far as to call it a scam. I mean, the project is there, they're working on it. Things are working, they're operating. There's plenty of people bullish on it. So, scam? No, I wouldn't go as far as to say that. Overall, though, Twitter is looking good, nice and engaged. For the rest, though, let's see if they have any other forms of social media. I'm not sure. They should have a Telegram group. I mean, that is basically, they have a Telegram, a Discord, a Twitter, and a Medium. Now, quickly checking the activity on Medium, we can see that they basically stalled here. So their last article was on May the 1st. So they're definitely not very active over there. That is a shame. All right, everybody. So how about we get started with my final judgment upon this project? So the project in general, guys, I have to say it's looking debatable, right? Overall, right, what they did, their plans, their execution, how it looks, and what they're intending to do is good, right? I've seen many platforms that were worse. I'm not very bullish on the launchpad. It just doesn't really look finished. So I feel like there's still a lot of work to be done on the launchpad before I would personally get involved with that. As for the rest of the platform, I mean, it does what it is intended to do. You can swap, you can stake, you can farm, etc., right? And in a bear market, all of that just doesn't really go that well. This is really a platform that in a bull run, when the market eases up and it goes, bonkers, you can earn a lot of money with projects like this. Do I think it's a scam? No. Do I think it's a good project? So. They have a long way to go. There's a lot of stuff to be done. The team is not doxed. So that would definitely be something I really need to see. The roadmap can use some improvements. The launchpad needs a lot of improvements. But for the rest, Lydia is not looking that bad. So if you want, it is a very cheap to just to get in there. So you can always just buy some tokens, check it out, see if you like it. And if you do, you can just continue, because I of course always encourage you doing your own research. All right, everybody, that was just about it. So if you enjoyed this review of Lydia Finance and the Lydia Launchpad, then please make sure to like and subscribe, and then I will see you guys in the next one. Ciao, see you later.